In a car factory. In the 1950s, production line for Fuji remote car models is being completed. However, there is one special car, a red sample, being examined by a worker. Unfortunately for him, while checking the engine, the hood suddenly closed and crushed his hand. When he went to treat his wound, another employee inspected the car from inside and dropped cigarette butts on the chair. Time passed and work at the factory ended. Everyone left, but the supervisor noticed the red car. Headlights are on and go check. However, he discovered the body of an employee smoking a cigar. 10 centuries later, in the year 1978, a student named Dennis comes to Ari's house, a nerdy and awkward guy. Despite having different personalities, the two became close friends and went to school together. Here they took books from the locker, until a new student named Lee appears and attracts all eyes with her beauty. Then Dennis waited for Hari to have lunch, but discovered that his friend was being taken away by the pen. Harassed upon hearing this, Dennis ran into the school's workshop, right at the pen, went to get Ari's lunch, and threatened him with a knife. Dennis tries to intervene, but the bully threw his lunch on the floor, causing Ari to slip and fall. The fall caused Ari to lose his glasses, and it didn't stop there. The pen trampled his glasses. The bully sneered like Dennis. Take that opportunity to hit him in the face and disarm him. At that moment, the pen's group of friends attacked Dennis. Like a teacher walked in and asked them to stop. After hearing Ari confirm his departure, he threatened with a knife. The teacher forced the pen into 6 pockets and discovered the knife. As a result, Pen was expelled from school, and his friend was punished to stay at school. End of the day. Dennis and Ari talk about what happened. On the way back, Ari sees a car in front of a house and asked Dennis to stop. They discovered a red Fuji Bimus. Same model as the one from the factory, but it is old and badly damaged. Ari doesn't mind and is obsessed with the car. Until the owner, Mr. George, appeared. He said that the car's name is Kristen and belonged to his brother, who just passed away a few weeks ago. For that reason, he wanted to sell the car for $250. Dennis advises Ari not to buy such a worn-out car, but Ari decided to buy it right away. Evening, Ali came home and told his parents about buying the car. Like your mother, who is very strict, completely opposed it and asked him to give it up. Ari refused, said he had done enough to please his parents, and bought the car with my savings. Even so, his mother remained determined, causing Ari to leave home and take the car to a garage. There Dennis and Ari meet the garage owner, when a difficult and rude man. Even so, he still let them leave the car overnight, but told them to go home. On the way back, Dennis asked why Ari bought a worn-out car like Kristen. Ari replied, "You finally found something ugly like me, but you can turn it into something better if you focus on it." Weeks passed. Ari worked day and night to repair the car. The garage owner continued to be rude, but he decided to hire Ari to work. In return, you will get all the scrap metal you need for your car. Ari first accepted the offer and continued working. Don't realize that he is growing strangely attached to Christy. The next day, Dennis and 2 other friends talked about the new student and challenged him to go talk to her in the library. Dennis accepts the challenge, but when he sat down at the table, he asked her out. She said she already had an appointment. Dennis left the table embarrassed after being rejected. At the end of the day, he went to Ari's house to talk, because they no longer see each other often. However, when he arrived, Dennis saw that Ari was completely different. Don't wear glasses, dress more stylishly, and have a rebellious attitude. Ari didn't even want to talk to her friend, and quickly left to work more for the car repair shop owner. Ari's mother tries to stop him, but Ari ignored her and continued on. Ari's mother then told Dennis that she was worried about her son and the new car. because she discovered that previous owner of the car committed suicide inside by inhaling carbon dioxide. Hear this. Dennis goes to old George's house, and he revealed what happened to his brother. George said when his brother bought Kristen, he became obsessed with the car, even after his wife and children died in it. Were still after brother passed away. The mysterious car reappears at George's house a few weeks later. This made Dennis even more worried, and at the end of the day he decided to go to the garage to see the car. Upon arriving, Dennis tried to open the car door, but as soon as it touches the handle, the car's radio suddenly came on, causing him to run away in panic before the AI saw. The next morning, Dennis arrived at the school stadium to play an important football match. While preparing to take an important shot, from afar he saw Ari driving. Christine has been completely restored, attract the attention of Hoodie and his group of friends. Lee also appeared from the car and kissed Ari in front of everyone. Dennis was confused and upset when he saw this scene. Loss of concentration during the match. The blow was too strong, causing Dennis to lose consciousness and suffer serious injuries. A few days after the incident, Dennis wakes up in the hospital with one leg in a cast and his neck in a splint due to a broken bone. Next to him is Ari, came to visit, and the two renewed their friendship. Dennis revealed that, because of an incident during the match, you will never be able to play football again, and was almost paralyzed. He also asked, how could Ari fix Christy so quickly? But Ari simply replied, that you worked hard to get it done. However, the conversation quickly changed when Ari told Dennis that he forced his parents to register the car in his name, otherwise you will drop out of school. Dennis realized that my friend's personality has changed a lot, and something bad happened seemed to be gradually growing inside him. Even so, Ari just said goodbye to Dennis, and it was dark. He drove Lee to an outdoor movie theater. The two are having a romantic moment, but when things start to get tense, Lee back up and get out of the car. Ari chases Theo, and she said that she didn't want to spend those moments in the car. Furthermore, the two started arguing about Ari being haunted, with Kristen caring more about the car than the driver. Ari found this conversation absurd and persuaded Lee returned to the car because it was raining. But as soon as they sat inside, the windshield began to malfunction, and Ari walked out to fix it. At that moment, Lee grabbed a snack to eat, and the car radio turned on by itself. What's even stranger is, the panel emits strong light, and the glass begins to feel stuffy, as if she was suffocating. She lost air and Ari quickly ran to help. Fortunately, she was successfully helped to escape by someone nearby. After this strange incident, Ari took the glass home, but she quickly left the car and don't want to talk. Ari still tries to apologize though, but Lee said that somehow it was the car that did this to her. Not only that, she feels like Kristen is jealous of Ari, because something strange always happens when two people are together. Ari thought it was just Lee's paranoia, and promised that they would talk more about it. Ari then returned to Kristen's car, but he couldn't start it. Instinctively, Ari started talking to Kristen, said that what happened to Lee wouldn't change anything, and that she will still be your car. Later, Ari tried restarting, and this time the car worked again. The two returned to the garage, and Ari left Kristen there. But right after Ari left, the pen went away, and his accomplices snuck into the garage. They brought sledgehammers, and begins to completely destroy Kristen. Not only damaged the body of one of them, even tore up the seats and destroyed the radio. The next day, Ari and Lee make up and went to the garage together so Ari could get her wallet from the car. However, upon arrival, Ari is shocked to see that Chris's news has been completely destroyed. Lee asked who did this and tried to comfort her boyfriend, but Ari couldn't control her anger and chased the glass away. Later during dinner, Ari told her parents about what happened, and they tried to comfort him that they would help him buy a new car. However, this only made Ari angrier. Because you know your parents, just like Lee, never liked Kristen. Moreover, you blame them, because if they let you park in the garage, then this would not have happened. After saying many rude words to my parents, Ari left the table and went up to her room. But his father Theo then asked Ari to apologize to his mother, made him more rebellious, and led to the two almost fighting. When Ari attacked her father, Coconut was completely obsessed with Kristen. Ari returned to the workshop and decided to repair every piece of the car myself. However, he was surprised to see Kristen fix the engine herself, supernaturally. Fascinated, Ari asked Kristen Cho, "Do you see any other magical things that cars can do?" And immediately, the car began to completely restore itself without any effort from Ari. That evening, one of Buddy's accomplices is named Machi. Take a truck for a ride and stopped on a highway. He continued walking. Then I heard the sound of a car engine in the distance, almost to where Machi meets Righton. The car appeared on the road and stopped right in front of him. Horrified, Machi suspects Ari is in the car and tried to explain what he had done. But Kristen turned on the headlights and rushed straight towards him. Machi ran with all his might and promptly jumped out of a pile of obstacles right before the car hit. Thought I got rid of Kristen. But the car appeared again soon after and continued the pursuit. Machi flees through a gate leading to an old warehouse and ran along a narrow road. Right behind you, Kristen chased Theo as if he was having fun with him. Machi ended up stuck at a dead end. There's no way out, and the car stood right in front of him, waiting. There is no other choice. Machi pulled out his knife and threatened the driver, but Kristen advanced. Even though the alley is too narrow, she still squeezes through and crushes the Machi. The next morning, Ari went to Dennis's room and told about what happened to the Machi. Dennis found this very suspicious, and it's even more strange that Kristen has been restored after being completely destroyed. However, Ari just shrugged and walked away. On the way out, he was approached by Detective Jenkin. Junking said he's investigating the destruction of Ari's car and the death of Machi, who was found with his body split in half. Ari declared that he knew nothing about Moki's death, although he felt satisfied with this news. The detective became suspicious and revealed that he had heard Ari's girlfriend's testimony, Lee, about the strange event when Christie's news was restored. This causes Ari to lose patience and leave, without saying anything more. Ari then calls Cho Lee and tries to convince her to meet, but she refused, making Ari even angrier. Meanwhile, Penn goes and his friend John bought a few cans of drink at a convenience store and drove in the middle of the road. A car with bright headlights started chasing after them. Penn stopped the car to see who was following him, but the light made it impossible for him to see clearly. He tried to reverse the car to escape, but the Kia car also backed up, and at this moment the Penn realized that it was Kristen. Annoying, Putty accelerated. The car drove down the street and stopped at a gas station where his friend Richie is working. Suddenly, Kristen appeared at high speed and crashed straight into Putty's car, flattened the side of the car. Buddy suspects Ari is driving and challenged him to a direct confrontation. However, Kristen rushed forward again, this time pushed Buddy's cart inside the workshop, where John was in the car. Buddy's car caught fire and the gasoline caught fire. The entire auto repair shop exploded with Theo Ricci. See this tragedy. Buddy runs away to save himself, but Kristen is still on fire. Chase him down a dark and deserted street. The blazing monster car rushed Theo away until he ran over someone, leaving Penn's body lying in the middle of the road engulfed in fire. Not long after, when the garage owner heard the car coming, and when he opened the workshop door, he saw Kristen fuming. He felt strange, because Ari took the car to another job. that he entrusted to you. Suspected that Win was holding a shotgun and approached Kristen to see who was driving. He tried to open the car door, but the car body was too hot. Use an old route sheet. He opened the door, but no one was inside. This makes things even more strange. But Win still decided to get in the car to investigate. Take advantage of this mistake. Kristen locked Win inside and killed him by pressing the seat in. Control panel crushed him so as not to leave any witnesses. The next day, Ari returned to the garage and saw many police cars inside. When he entered, he met Detective Zenkings. Cho said he had found his boss. Inside the car, no more life. The strangest thing is, this situation seems to indicate that he committed suicide because his gun was lying next to him. Face this. Ari said he didn't know what happened, but doubt that it was Kristen who did this, as the car reappears completely restored. Meanwhile, Dennis returned home and received a call from the glass person who requested a meeting. She came and said that she suspects the car is controlling Ari in a way, causing him to act strangely and violently. Dennis did not believe that his friend could do anything bad. But what if the car is controlling your mind? Then it must be destroyed. After the conversation, Lee leave, but just a few seconds later Aries appeared with Christy. He called Dennis over and invited him for a walk, but Ari was behaving very strangely. On the way he started drinking more than necessary, exceeded speed limit, and even let go of the steering wheel to let the car drive itself. This attitude makes Dennis worried, and he repeated Lie's words that Ari had no control over her car. However, instead of listening to you, Ari just said in a threatening tone that it was nothing, and no one will stand in the way of you and Kristen. To prove it, Ari accelerated the car to the maximum and changed lanes. VA almost collided with a vehicle coming from the opposite direction, saw his friend at the border of madness. Dennis decided to take action. The next day he left a notice on the car's body. Kristen asks Ari to meet at the garage in the evening. When the time comes for the meeting, Dennis and Lee are waiting for Ari in the workshop but didn't see you. So the two decided to go to a nearby excavator and drove it into the workshop. They agreed that Lee will stay in the office and close the gate when Ari arrives, and as soon as you get out, Dennis will destroy Kristen by bulldozer. They carry out the plan, and cops go into the office. Like what neither of them knew was, Kristen is hiding in the workshop amidst the ruins. Then the car turned on its headlights and rushed towards the girl. Causes cops in a reflex quickly grabbed a hanging tire and avoid promptly. However, Kristen did not give up and continued to attack the girl. But at that moment, Dennis used the excavator's hook to block it and protect her from impact. Later, Kristen backed away and moved to a far corner of the workshop, while Dennis drove the excavator to the other side. The two cars are placed opposite each other. At this point, it was clear that Kristen was not driving alone, which has support from Ari. People completely dominated by the influence of the car. Suddenly, the car activated its headlights, and it completely repaired itself. Then accelerate, rush towards the office to destroy Lei. But good luck, the VAS impact sent Ari through the windshield. Glass is still safe, but Ari was suddenly startled and grabbed her. Unfortunately, his body was seriously injured due to a piece of glass from the windshield. In the last moments, Ari tried to swipe "Take your precious car," but could not resist the injuries and died before my eyes. Kristen is helpless before the departure of his master. Lee fled the scene, but Kristen, in an act of revenge, finally stepped back to try to attack the girl. Dennis took this opportunity, and after restarting the excavator, he rushed it towards Kristen. The collision caused serious damage to the car, but Kristen still tried to escape. Kristen started towards Lee, as Dennis used the excavator's hook and penetrated the vehicle from behind. VA hits hard, causing the ghostly car to appear to lose power and becomes motionless. LY rush towards the excavator to join Dennis, but Kristen activates again and begins to heal himself. To put an end to all evil, Dennis starts the bulldozer and runs past Kristen. The car tried to resist, but completely crushed. The war is finally over. The next day, Dennis and Lee meet Detective Jean King in the middle of a scrapyard. There, they saw that Kristen had turned into pieces of iron dust. In the end, 3 of them left, but didn't pay attention when a small piece of Kristen begins to move. Demonstrates that the monster is still alive.